بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين على أمور الدنيا والدين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد خاتم النبيين وآله وصحبه أجمعين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. The tafsir of today starts with ayah 275 through 281 of Surah Al-Baqarah. Where Allah Ta'ala says, الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ الرِّبَا لَا يَقُومُونَ إِلَّا كَمَا يَقُومُ الَّذِي يَتَخَبَّطُهُ الشَّيْطَانُ مِنَ الْمَسِّ ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّهُمْ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا الْبَيْعُ مِثْلُ الرِّبَا وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا فمن جاءه موعظة من ربه فانتهى فله ما سلف وأمره إلى الله ومن عاد فأولئك أصحاب النار هم فيها خالدون يمحق الله الربا ويربي الصدقات والله لا يحب كل كفار أثيم إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وأقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة لهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وذروا ما بقي من الربا إن كنتم مؤمنين فإن لم تفعلوا فأذنوا بحرب من الله ورسوله وإن تبتم فلكم رؤوس أموالكم لا تظلمون ولا تظلمون وإن كان ذو عسرة فنظرة إلى ميسرة وإن تصدقوا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون واتقوا يوما ترجعون فيه إلى الله ثم توفى كل نفس ما كسبت وهم لا يظلمون. The ayah's meaning is ayah number 275. You see this one? Take this Quran here. Ayah 275 of Surah Al-Baqarah at the bottom. Through 281 of Surah Al-Baqarah. Meaning, this is the third to last page of Surah Al-Baqarah. The third to last page of Surah Al-Baqarah. In this ayah, in this first ayah, Allah Ta'ala, in this section, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala continues on with talking about wealth. How to spend the wealth, what to do with the wealth, and so on and so forth. What do you do with it? The last section we were talking about sadaqah, correct? Anybody remember? So what do we, if we start this next section talking about riba is usury, right? Usury, or what they call interest, making money off of interest. What riba basically is, in summary, is making money without any effort. You didn't do anything to get that money, you made money off of money. And you didn't make any effort to get that. Or you made money off of a certain food product, and you did nothing, no effort, no trade, nothing, you just, because I loaned it to you or I gave it to you at a time where you didn't have the money to pay for it, now I'm going to get excess from you for it. And this is prohibited in Islam. So why do we see that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala speaks about interest after speaking about sadaqah? Anybody know? What's the connection between charity, giving in charity, and interest?
The monies obtained from interest have no benefit as far as charities go. They have no benefit behind them.
The money that a person uses for charity should be good money. Should be something that's earned well. Use it for charity, right? So that you can get the reward for it. The full reward from Allah. But money that comes from interest is from the type of wealth that is, as Allah says, khabith, it's filthy wealth. It's not healthy, it's not wholesome. So it's a wealth that Allah is not happy with it. Allah is not happy with a person earning their wealth through interest or haram means. So Allah warns against it and wages war against this type of oppression that happens amongst mankind. So Allah says in this ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah 275, الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ الرِّبَا. Allah says those who eat riba. Has anyone ever been to a bank? Everybody been to a bank, right? And you put you get the bank and they give you interest on the bank sometimes. Can you eat that?
No.
Is that something that you can eat?
No.
So why does Allah here say those who eat riba?
Because it's the money that you consume. I mean, you have to consume it. And it's the money that you consume. right, to utilize it?
The reason is that majority of the times the person utilizes what they benefit from to eat with. So Allah is speaking about the action that comes after instead of the initial utilization. Yes, you use those who consume, those who earn riba, but why do you earn it? So that you can eat from it. You want to feed your family. That's like we say, I gotta eat, right? Well, I gotta eat. Why you go to work? I gotta feed my people. Yeah, you going to work because you want to make money. But we utilize it for the first action. The most important thing that we need to do with that money is to do what? Eat. So Allah is pinpointing here at that point. That the most important thing somebody's going to do with the money that they earn from interest or however they earn it is eat with it. So Allah says those who الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ الرِّبَا, those who eat from interest, لَا يَقُومُونَ إِلَّا كَمَا يَقُومُ الَّذِي يَتَخَبَّطُهُ الشَّيْطَانُ مِنَ الْمَسِّ. That those who eat from interest, they will never, يَقُومُونَ here, they will never be resurrected on Yawm al-Qiyamah. They will never stand up straight when they come out of their grave on the day of judgment, except like a person who was beat up by the shaitan from his touch. Shaitan beat him down. What does that mean here? Allah says, and Allah says that the reason why they get this type of punishment on Yawm al-Qiyamah is because they said that trade is just like interest. Trade, doing business, having a business or whatever, is just like eating or consuming interest. وَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا. But Allah made permissible doing business, and He made impermissible interest. فَمَنْ جَاءَهُ مَوْعِظَةٌ مِّن رَبِّهِ فَانْتَهَى فَلَهُ مَا سَلَفَ وَأَمْرُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَمَنْ عَادَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. So Allah says, so whoever this maw'idha, the maw'idha is something that's supposed to steer you up and make you afraid. Whoever this admonition has reached from his Lord, that you got this admonition, it's reached that Allah doesn't like this, Allah hates it, and He's warning you and telling you, not only is He telling you not to do it, He's giving you some fearful things to happen, that when you're resurrected on Yawm al-Qiyamah, you will come out like this. Whoever this reaches to them, then here's the mercy of Allah, then they stop. فَانْتَهَى. Whoever this admonition reaches to them and they stop what they're doing of evil, they stop what they're doing of haram, and they stop, فَلَهُ مَا سَلَفَ وَأَمْرُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ. Then for him is whatever happened in the past, no problem. Allah, وَأَمْرُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ. And his affairs with Allah. We're not going to charge you for what you did in the past if you stop now. We're not going to punish you for what you did in the past if you stop and repent now. But it's upon you once the maw'izah reaches the person, the admonition reaches the person, that they hear it and they stop. And Allah says, okay, whatever you earned from it in the past, keep that, do whatever. فَانْتَهَى مَا سَلَفَ. Whatever's in the past, let it be in the past. And your affairs with Allah. وَمَنْ عَادَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. But whoever, after hearing this admonition, returns back to doing the haram, returns back to eating from interest, فَمَنْ عَادَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ, then that person will be from the people of the fire, and they'll stay in there forever. That's what Allah is saying there. So we go back to this ayah at the beginning of it, and we talk about riba. Why was this ayah of riba revealed? What is Allah talking about? From amongst the things that have been revealed in regards to this ayah is that before in the time of Jahiliyyah, there was a group in Mecca, 2 tribes in Mecca. One of them owed the other tribe a lot of money from riba. Right? One of them owed the other tribe. They used to borrow from them, and they owed them a lot of money from riba. So when the Prophet ﷺ came and conquered Mecca, he made it a law that all of the riba is mawdu'. All of it is annulled. There's no more. Whatever you owe somebody from riba, it's null and void. Can't collect on it anymore. So when the Prophet ﷺ did this is difficult, right? Somebody owe you money, and you've been waiting on this, right? He said, I'll lend you $15, right? And now after I lend you $15, I told you, listen, you know you owe me $25 for this back. Give me 15, but I want 25 back. I'm counting on that 25 maybe, right? I'm like, that's how I make my money. Now the Prophet ﷺ came and he said, that's over. Take your 15 and leave the other 10. That's difficult for people, right? So the Prophet ﷺ, when he did this, what did he do? Not only did he annul all of the interest in Mecca and everywhere else in Islam, but also he said he started with who? His family. He started with who? His uncle Abbas, the father of who? Who's Abbas? Who's Abbas the father of? Not $400. Who is Abbas Al-Abbas the father of?
Who is Abbas the father of?
Yeah, who is Abbas the father of?
Ibn Abbas.
Ibn Abbas. Abbas is the father of Abdullah ibn Abbas. Abdullah, the famous cousin of the Prophet ﷺ, his father was Al-Abbas, the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ. So the Prophet ﷺ, when he came to Mecca, he said all of the interest is null and void. And he said the first interest that I'm going to nullify is the interest of who? Al-Abbas, my uncle. So there's no favoritism here. And Abbas had a bunch of money that was owed to him, they said. He had a partner with it, right? And they had a lot of money owed to him. So he made it clear right off the top. The first person is my family. I'm going to deal with my family first. That's why it's important, subhanAllah, that the ones who are calling to Allah, right? The first people we got to correct is our family. Ourselves and our family, right? Allah says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Oh, you who believe, protect yourself and your family from the fire. It's very important that a person doesn't call to Allah, right? And he doesn't correct himself and his family in the process. He leaves that. He says, because people will say, oh, but, as one story came with Ibn Mas'ud, when he told a woman that she shouldn't tattoo herself and stuff like this, she said, but your wife does it. He said, if you find out my wife does it, she'll be divorced right now. His wife didn't do it, alhamdulillah, of course, right? But the point is that you correct yourself and your family first. So the Prophet ﷺ made it clear. He said, you know what? The first riba that I'm going to get rid of is going to be the riba of who? Al-Abbas. It's done with. Can't nobody say, oh, Ya Rasulullah, but your uncle got money, people owe him. No, this is the first that we're going to deal with. And that's what he did. So then the Prophet, so we go back to it. Allah says, الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ الرِّبَا لَا يَقُومُونَ إِلَّا كَمَا يَقُومُ الَّذِي يَتَخَبَّطُ الشَّيْطَانُ مِنَ الْمَسِّ. This is a very scary, subhanAllah, parable, method, right? What does Allah mean here? That the one who eats from riba, that he won't be able to come out, be resurrected from his grave, except in a manner like the one who, like a person who is epileptic, that when you see them, they're on the ground shaking and convulsing, or like a person who has jinn with them, right? A person who has a jinn with them, sometimes the jinn overcomes the body and they're shaking, they can't even move or stand up, right? This stuff is true. So the Prophet, Allah is giving us an example of the one who eats from riba on Yawm al-Qiyamah, he won't be able to stand up straight out of his grave. Why? Anybody know? Think about it. And there's no issue with his intellect. The problem is not with his brain. Why can't he stand up straight when he comes out of his grave? And that's going to be a sign on Yawm al-Qiyamah, on the day of judgment, of those who ate from interest, that they will be in this condition. Why will they be in this condition? What is Allah showing us here about them?
That the deed is crooked.
The deed is crooked. That's true. Subhanallah, the deed is crooked. The deed, not deen, the deed that they're doing, the action that they're doing is crooked. That's part of it. But what it is, the scholars in Tafseer, they said that this person, the riba will grow in his stomach. And it will grow so big. What does the word riba mean? Riba means a ziyada. Bil-lugha, a riba is a ziyada. Well, yarbu, that the thing grew, right? Sah? So Allah is going to use the riba that they thought they were getting an extra, because riba means to increase. Riba means to increase. So Allah is going to punish them by making that riba that they thought they were getting an increase in the dunya. He's going to make an increase in their belly on Yawm al-Qiyamah. It's going to increase so much in their belly on Yawm al-Qiyamah that they're not going to be able to stand up straight. They're going to be walking, dragging their belly on the ground. Can't stand up straight because their belly is full of riba. SubhanAllah. Tapeworm of riba. SubhanAllah azim. That this is their situation on Yawm al-Qiyamah. They can't even stand up straight because they're trying to get that increase. They got it, but they got it on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And now they can't even walk straight. And this is going to be the sign of the people who ate from riba on Yawm al-Qiyamah, that they can't stand up straight. Their belly is going to swell, be dragging on the ground, and they can't even walk with it. May Allah protect us from eating or indulging in riba. Allah Ta'ala, He didn't continue saying, so then we go back to it again. What is the reason? Alaykum salam. What is the reason that this crime of riba here specifically, why this person is getting such a big sin? The reason is that not only did they do the riba, but did they try to make it seem halal. So Allah says that they're going to stay in the fire forever. Being in the fire forever is the punishment of who? The kuffar. This person became a kafir. This person became a kafir. Why? Because they tried to make it halal. They said, nah, riba is okay. It's just like doing business. If I do business, won't I get some increase? If I buy the stove, right? I buy the jalebi for $10, and I come and I sell it to you for $100. Is that haram?
No.
I sell it to you for $100.
No.
You collected interest.
I'm collecting interest? How?
You said that you bought a jalabi for $10 and you selling it for $100.
Mm-hmm.
Because the interest is you're supposed to make a profit, but you're making an exceeding amount of profit.
Who said it's exceeding?
Because it could create hardship for the customer.
They bought it. Who said your price is exceeding it? What if that's what everybody charges in the area? What if everyone in the area charges that amount?
Give me the line.
Right? Let's say everyone in the area charges $100, but before you, they were getting their jalabiyas for $80, and you found a supplier, right, where you can get that jalabiya for $10. Should you drop your price and cut the market? Should you keep it for $100? It's a business thing. Keep it for $100. Keep the market. One of the things that you don't want to do in Islam is cut the market where everybody can't eat. You got to keep the market stable to an extent. You can go a couple dollars down. But the point is you can sell it for what you want. If the person agrees and wants to buy, no problem. Should you want to be nice to your brother? There's a rule, right? I mean, that the person should love for their brother what they love for themselves, right? Man yu'min billahi wal yawmil akhir for what? Man yu'min billahi wal yawmil akhir. You guys memorize this hadith, right? Huh? Man yu'min billahi wal yawmil akhir. I'm forgetting. Subhanallah. What's this hadith? Man yu'min billahi wal yawmil akhir. يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه صح؟ نعم طيب. So the point is, right, you want to love for your brother what you love for yourself, right? So you don't want to kill him on a price. But it's not haram. It's not haram if you want to buy it. If he agrees on it, he wants to buy it, alhamdulillah.
Even with a car.
Even with a car, whatever the price you agree on, you agreed on that price. If the product is worth it to you, maybe to you it's worth that. Your effort, maybe you put in a lot of effort to get that, whatever it might be. But the difference with riba is that riba, you making a profit off of no effort. There's no business that had to go in. You didn't sell me. There's no exchange of anything. We exchanged nothing. I loaned you some money. Now because I loaned you money, I want you to increase my money back. No. The exchange, if I sell you the throw, at least you get to keep it. With the riba, you don't even get to keep the throw. You're going to bring that throw back to me eventually. I'm saying, you're going to bring that money back to me eventually. That's the difference. You see what I'm saying? So now I made money. I made money off of nothing at all. If I sell it to you, you keep it. It's yours. Riba, I made money just off of you having a need, and you gave it back and more. You never kept nothing. Does that make sense? It's not business. It's no trade. There's no trade in reality in riba. I'm purely making money off of your need.
So getting business loans from the bank is riba.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. If I take a business loan out from the bank, I'm telling the bank I don't have the money to do what I want to do. This is one of the reasons why Islam prohibits riba. Because Islam prohibits riba because you're not giving a person a chance to succeed. Right? Person has a need. They want to make business. But instead of me giving you the money that you need to make business, and just say, eat. Man, Allah, just give me my money back. Right? I say, here, eat, and pay me back and try to do business. I'm making it hard for you. How are you really going to get a business? So Islam came to secure the rights of people and say, listen, if you want to do business, help your brother out. Don't cut the business off from you. Don't cut your brother off from his ability because he has a need. Now you making it double hard for him to eat and do his business, right? How often do people really succeed with those business loans? Because I gotta pay it. Or look at it like a mortgage, right? Now let's say you buy a house and you buy it through a mortgage. Now, let's say 10 years ago you lose your job, you can't pay your mortgage, right? Guess what happens? They take the whole house, everything, and all the money you've been paying on it. They don't give you none of that back. They'll say, okay, here goes the rest of your money back. We'll take the house. No, that's all gone. So again, you see how they made money off of nothing. You don't even get to keep what you bought off at riba if you don't finish. You see it? You see the point?
Even property tax too.
Tax is different than interest.
Because like say you missed, you had a late payment on taxes.
Mm-hmm. They start putting interest on it though.
They start putting interest on it.
Yeah, they start putting interest on it. But see that again, these are unfair. Tax in Islam in reality is haram.
Yeah.
People don't realize taxes in Islam is not permissible normally, unless it's a specific need from the government. But taxes, a government taxing its citizens, is one of the major sins. One of the major sins. It's not, even in Saudi, right? If you notice, Saudi didn't have taxes until like a couple years ago. It was unheard of, taxes. Yes.
So what about the taxes that was ordered for the people that wasn't Muslim?
It's not a tax. It's a jizya. It's a good question. The jizya is that you're paying for protection in reality. You live amongst us. We're allowing you we're not forcing you to become Muslim, but you want our security. You want to live amongst us. You got to pay. You're not Muslim. You're not worshiping. Because the Muslim pays what? Zakat. So you can't live amongst us and don't pay anything. Right? The Muslim pays zakat. The Christian or a Jew that lives amongst the Muslims is not required to pay anything except for the jizya. They don't have to pay any zakat. They don't have to pay, war, but none of that stuff. So you get all the benefits of living in the security of the Muslims, and you don't pay. No, it doesn't even make sense. Political, no.
You do pay for citizenships.
Who?
You said the non-Muslim.
There was no citizenship back then like that.
Yes.
Citizenship is new. Passports is new. This all happened like after World War I, World War II. This passport system to do what? Control people through borders. This is a new thing, citizenship. Where are you a citizen? Wherever you live is where you lived before, right? You go wherever you want. This whole citizenship thing and where are you a citizen, a green card, all this is new. Last 100 years at the most. Didn't have it before. So the point goes back again to, going back to the riba, that it's unjust. A society that's built on riba is a society where we see here in America, right? That the rich are really rich and the poor are really poor. The middle class are the worst of the worst, right? The people who have a couple dollars and are struggling, they have it the worst because they have no help, right? That's true?
Yeah.
The rich are either really rich, the poor are better than the middle class sometimes. Right? The poor are better than the middle class. Because when you get to the middle class, you can't get no food stamps or help or nothing like that. You got to pay out of pocket. But the poor, they're going to get some help. So they might be doing better than you. You're trying to figure it out how. That's the system that happens from riba. You can't earn your own money, really. You want to buy a house, you're not going to get no help. So you go borrow from the bank charges you 20% on top of that. And you paying that back. Your children might be paying that back. It's unjust. And Islam came to do away with anything that's unjust. That makes sense? Islam came to do away with anything that's unjust. So Allah, he continues. So the whole point behind why riba is forbidden, or in this situation, why they are going to Jahannam and to stay in Jahannam, is because they try to make it seem halal. Anytime that a person makes halal what Allah makes permissible, or tries to make something that Allah has said is haram, to make it seem permissible, that person becomes a kafir. Do you understand that? It's a difference, two different issues. One, if a person commits a sin, and they know it's a sin, right? They say, I'm wrong. And they acknowledge, I'm wrong. Their situation is different. They're sinful, but they're not a kafir. They're sinful. They're wrong. I'm committing a sin, but I know it's wrong. May Allah forgive me. I want to make tawbah. Inshallah. If not, I don't make it today. I want to make it one day. Sinful. But not a kafir. But now here goes the other guy who says, you know what? I'm going to drink this alcohol. And you know what? It's halal. And he's telling people it's halal to drink alcohol. That person becomes a kafir. Because he's clearly making halal permissible what Allah has clearly said is haram. It's a difference. That part's clear? So this person who ate riba and he's saying that riba is permissible, this person will stay in the fire forever. This person will stay in the fire forever because he's made permissible what Allah has made haram. We understand that point? No.
A question. That person that would do such a thing, has that person made himself at that time an ilah or something of that? And if so, could you expound upon that?
I mean, nobody can make themselves. You gotta remember, every ilah besides Allah is false. He can become a taghut, one of the taghut, because one of the reasons of the taghut of a person who is exceeded the bounds is one who rules by other than what Allah has revealed. Right? It's taghut. Right? As far as an ilah, he's not calling people to worship him, but he's making laws. The rule of an ilah means al-ma'luh, something that's worshipped. He's not calling people specifically to worship him, but he's making laws. Right? He's making a law specifically in opposition to what Allah has commanded. Now, is it permissible for a government to make laws?
Yes.
Of course. Stop at green, go at red. No problem. But we're talking about laws that have to deal with specifically the deed of what Allah has already legislated. If you go against that and make it permissible, can a government go and say that homosexuality is permissible? No. Homosexuality has a clear ruling in Islam that it is haram. Do you understand my point? But now if a person makes a law with, you can't build your house more than 5 stories. Can the government do this? Yes. It might be a reason why the government says that. That if it's 5 stories, maybe the person over, whatever their reason is, they can do that for the benefit of society. But they can't make laws that contradict or go against the usul of Islam in the deen. Or allow things that go against the usul of Islam in the deen. Does this make sense? So Allah says, يَمْحَقُ اللَّهُ الرِّبَا وَيُرْبِ الصَّدَقَاتِ. Allah says that He wipes out riba. So a person, when they do riba, what are they trying to do? They're trying to get more back, right? Man, listen, Abdurrahman, you said you need $10. Okay, cool. Taqdi al-an or turbi. Either you give it to me now, you pay it back to me tomorrow, or you pay me extra, right? What is that person trying to do? They're trying to get their increase. So Allah is telling us here, يَمْحَقُ اللَّهُ riba. Allah is saying what? That Allah wipes out the riba. وَيُرْبِ الصَّدَقَاتِ. But He will make your sadaqah increase. In the aqeedah of the Muslim, the belief of the Muslim, he believes what? That he'll meet Allah on Yawm al-Qiyamah. He believes that Allah is Ar-Razzaq, that Allah is the one that takes care of everything. If you truly believe that Allah is the one that takes care of everything, you'll understand what? You'll understand a very important thing. That you ever see a person, they don't have a lot of money, but they're happy. You say, man, that guy works at 9 to 5 at McDonald's or whatever, but he's happy. Well, Allah's putting barakah in his money. Barakah, blessing in your wealth, is more important than having a lot of money. Again, pay attention to what I just said. It's important that we understand that. Having blessings in your wealth is more important than having a lot of wealth. A person can have millions of dollars, but they have so much debt. They can't even cover their expenses. Why? There's no barakah, there's no blessing in their wealth. But a person can only be making, $300 a week. And they have happiness and they have barakah and they're able to establish and do whatever they need to do. Whatever they need to do on their level. Why? Allah's put barakah in their wealth. Wealth comes to them, more money comes to them from other places where they wouldn't even imagine it coming from them. Allah says, وَمَنْ يَتَّقِ اللَّهَ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبُ. Allah says He's the one, whoever fears Allah, has taqwa of Allah, He'll make a way out from every difficulty. And He'll provide for him from where he couldn't imagine. Some of that provision that comes from Allah where you couldn't imagine is not actual money, but it's barakah in your money. Maybe Allah is blessing that you go to spend something, and the person, no, don't spend it. No, I'll take care of it. That's barakah. You didn't pay for nothing. Or a person says, you know what? I'm going to charge you less. Why? Because you're my Muslim brother. That's barakah. Every time that you have one of those situations, thank Allah. That's what Allah put barakah in your money. Saves you from having to use your money, even though you might have had it. So your money becomes different than the guy's money who doesn't have taqwa. This guy doesn't have taqwa, and Allah makes him pay for everything, every dime. You have barakah, you might not eat dinner at home for the last 5 days. People keep inviting you to their house to eat. Right? You see how the money becomes saved and there's blessings in your wealth. Look at the Muslim during Ramadan. How often does the Muslim during Ramadan eat at home? Get at the masjid, get your dates, get some Muslim at the masjid. That's barakah. Whole month free. You ain't got to pay for no food, right? That's barakah. You don't get that except through fearing Allah. So Allah says that the person who goes for riba, Allah wipes it out, puts no barakah in it. You think that you're getting extra, but that thing runs away fast, right? If you notice that if you ever do something the wrong way, Allah just takes it away from you quick. Say, man, what happened to that money I got the other day? It's gone. No barakah in it. But if you give it in sadaqah, you do it the right way, Allah says that He will increase it. Wallahu la yuhibbu kulla kafarin athim. This is Allah does not love every kafar, every person who disbelieves in athim. The athim is a sinful person, but he's not any sinful person. He's the sinful person who believes what he's doing is halal. That's what Allah's talking about here. The kafar and athim is the sinful person who believes what he's doing is correct. Man, I'm getting this riba and I need it and it's good and it's making my pockets grow. It's another type of sin. Then Allah tells us about the opposite person. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتَوُوا الزَّكَاةَ لَهُمْ أَجْرُهُمْ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ وَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Allah says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, indeed those who believe. Believe in what? Tell me, Abdul Ghani, Nasir. What do you believe in about Allah? What do you believe in? What's your belief? Allah says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. What do you believe? Huh? What do you believe?
Everything He told us about Him.
No, it's not going to work, brother. Not going to cut it today. That's a good one, though. Everything He told us about Him. Very good. Strategic. What do you believe about Allah?
His books.
Oh, you believe about His books? You got to start at the top, then get to the book. Whose books?
Allah.
So what do you believe? Tell me what you believe.
That He's the only one.
No. What do you believe, Zubair? Man, I heard you was out there like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar yesterday, man. MashaAllah. What do you say?
We believe in Allah's rububiyyah.
Oh, wait, okay, we believe in Allah's rububiyyah. What is rububiyyah? You just throwing out big words?
No, it's when you believe that
Rububiyyah, somebody help him. What's rububiyyah?
His lordship.
His lordship. What does that mean? His lordship. That's a big word. What is lordship?
Oneness.
Nah, come on, we throwing out words. What do these words mean?
That He's the Lord and the creator of everything.
Lord, creator. What does Lord mean? This word Lord. Because we don't use that word in English today.
Majesty.
He's a Rabb. You threw me an Arabic word back.
Majesty.
His majesty? Okay, what does word Rabb mean? It means He is the one to be obeyed. He is the creator, the provider, the sustainer of the heavens and the earth, right? So if we say we believe in His rububiyyah, that's what we're talking about. We believe that Allah is unique in His ability to create, to provide, to sustain, and maintain all of creation, right? What else do we believe? His uluhiyyah? What is that? Who said it? What? Our actions, excellent. Our actions towards Allah. His uluhiyyah is that we single out our actions in devotion and worship to Allah. Excellent. What's after that? What else do we believe? His asma wa sifat. Yesterday's class. Somebody better be able to tell me something about it, right? Asma wa sifat. What is asma wa sifat? His names and His what? Characteristics. So Allah's names and characteristics are different than everyone else's names and characteristics. They're unique. They're all the what? The best names. Perfect. Beautiful. Right? Tayyib. So we believe in what? His rububiyyah, His uluhiyyah, asma wa sifat. What else do we believe? What else do you believe? You want to be included here? What do you believe? Nope. Yes, you. That's true, but no, that's not where we're going. What do you believe?
His prophets, His angels.
Now you skip it. Okay, His angels. We're going to go to His angels after, right? Let's keep it in order. What else after His angels?
His books.
His books. What else after His books?
Prophets.
His prophets. What else after His prophets?
Resurrection.
The resurrection, right? What's after that?
Khadar.
The Qadr, the good of it and the bad of it, right? How many is that? 6? Did we skip anything?
No, 6.
Tayyib. 6. So when we say what do you believe, we got to start, when we read Quran, this is we got to start to program our mind. When we read, we got to know what we're saying. And don't just read past it. No. Those who believe in what? They believe in Allah. They believe in His angels. They believe in His books. They believe in His messengers. They believe in the last day. They believe in the Qadr, the good of it and the bad of it. Right? That's what they believe. And then they do amal salihat. They do righteous actions, right? Somebody tell me a righteous action.
Helping the elderly.
Helping the elderly is righteous action. How do you know an action is righteous?
Because Allah's pleased with it.
No. There's a rule. What's the rule?
Bismillah.
No. Bismillah. If you can say Bismillah before, right? Then it gotta be good. How do you know the action is righteous? What is the amal salih? Yeah, salih. How do you know the action is righteous?
It's in line with the Sunnah of Rasulullah.
It's in line with the Sunnah of Allah, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It has to be an action that's based upon the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of His Messenger, right? Let's say a person comes to you and says, "Listen, slapping people is righteous today. It's a good deed to slap people." Is that righteous? Why not? Allah and His Messenger didn't say it was. But let's say a person came to you and said you were on the battlefield, and they said, "You'll slap the guy, man," and they hit him this way. Is that a righteous action? It's a righteous action. There's its time and its place. So the point is, amal salih is that which is in accordance to the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of His Messenger. It's built on that. Wa aqamu salah, they establish the salah. How do you establish Salat Rahman?
You pray.
No. Anyone can pray. Close.
Gotta make wudu.
You got to fulfill the conditions and the pillars and the requirements of the salah. You can't just get up and make salah and say Allahu Akbar and throw your hands over here and then lay on the ground and just recite Surah Al-Ikhlas, forget Al-Fatiha. You just do your own thing. No. You got to establish the salah. That's why when we say salah, we say we offer it. We don't just pray, right? Because just praying is like, I just prayed. Is it accept? No, I'm offering this to Allah, hoping that He'll accept it. Correct? So the salah, when they say aqamus, that's why Allah doesn't say wa antu salli. He didn't say just pray. He said wa aqamus salah. That you establish the salah, meaning that you do it with its pillars, its requirements, what it needs, right? What does it need? What do you have to do to fulfill your salah? I have to make proper wudu, right? I have to stand up, right? I have to recite Al-Fatiha. I have to go to all the different pillars and requirements of salah you have to fulfill. Can't skip any. وَآتَوُ الزَّكَاةِ, and He gives the zakat. How much you got to pay for zakat? Anybody remember?
2.5.
2.5% of
Your yearly earnings.
yearly earnings of, we say, the silver method. Silver method is real easy. $300. I don't know how much silver is today, but around $200 and something, $250. That amount is the nasab. You get worried now. Oh man, that was zakat. People get worried when you say we use the silver method. Why do we use the silver method? Because our money is not backed by gold. Our money is not backed by gold. So because our money is not backed by anything, our money is really paper, we base it on the tijara system. So we say that, what is the easiest of the use out of gold or silver? Silver is cheaper, so it helps the poor more if we make our nasab lower. It helps the poor more if we lower the nasab and use the silver standard. Right? So Allah then says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ لَهُمْ أَجْرُهُمْ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ. Those who do those things, don't worry, your money's with Allah. Right? That's the best bank you can ever use. لَهُمْ أَجْرُهُمْ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ وَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. That whoever does that, his wealth or his ajr, his reward, ajr in reality means payment. Your payment for what you did is with Allah. Your reward for what you did of believing, establishing the salah, doing righteous actions, paying the zakat, your reward is with Allah. Don't worry. لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. And Allah says they will have no fear. No fear of any loss in the akhirah, وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ, and they shouldn't grieve about anything they left behind in the dunya. Everything is set for them. Allah then says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَذَرُوا مَا بَقِيَ مِنَ الرِّبَا إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. SubhanAllah. Wallahi, this ayat here is dangerous for some of us here in America. Right? We gotta, SubhanAllah, may Allah make it easy for us here, right? Even not even in America. Riba is everywhere in the world now. Not even just in America. We might suffer from it more than some people. But it's a tragedy. Think about this, right? Does anybody know, the Prophet ﷺ said that the least type of riba is like a person marrying his mother. Do you understand that? That's disgusting, huh? A person, taking their mother to be their wife. The least type of riba is worse than that. So riba is a huge deal in Islam. It's not a little thing. Not alone that, Allah wages war. Who here is tough enough to go to war against Allah? Like, think about that. That the one who goes to buy riba, use riba, Allah is saying, you got beef with Allah. Who wants to wake up and think about, I gotta go to war against Allah tomorrow? That's a big deal. That's a battle you lost before you started. That's a battle you lost before you started. There's no way possible you can win. No strategy you can employ to win in that battle. It's over before you started. So Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullah wadharu ma baqiya min al-riba in kuntum mu'minin. O you who believe, leave off riba. Whatever remains, whatever you have left of it, leave it, drop it, let it go. Right? You got $15,000 somebody owes you in the bank. Or let's say you got it in the bank right now, right? Anybody have those accounts, those bank accounts? You have a bank account, the savings account. And the saving account is accruing interest. Leave it. Don't take it out. Leave it. And if subhanAllah, some of the scholars that say take it out and give it to sadaqah, but don't think that sadaqah is going to count for you. Don't leave it with the kuffar. Okay, tell you. Don't leave it with them. Don't let it be wasted. But don't think that wealth is going to count for you. Because most likely it's not yours. It doesn't belong to you. It's haram. But it says, take it out. Leave alone what people owe you of riba. Before, this situation was different. People will owe them riba. So they say, leave it alone. Don't ask them for that back. Right? In kuntum mu'minin. If you're a believer. The only ones who will be able to achieve that are those who what? Are believers. In kuntum mu'minin. Do that if you're what? A believer. It's a question for us now. Now we got a problem beating on our chest, right? Imagine some of us might have a bank account like this. Some of us, quiet. Some of us might have a bank account like that where we got some interest bearing. And we think that interest bearing is helping us build our credit or whatever it might be, right? Leave that. Don't spend that. Don't take from that. It's haram. Allah has prohibited us from using that. If you're a believer, right? Some of you guys are young, you say, man, I don't even have $10, right? But inshallah, when you get your bank account, get the bank. And it's not too difficult. I mean, subhanAllah, even using the bank is shady because you're supporting interest. Even using the bank, subhanAllah, there's some shade there. The Prophet says there's going to come a time where interest is going to fall over the people. You're not going to be able to escape it. And we're in that time perhaps. That we're almost not able to escape it. But if you can't do all of something, do the most that you can do. If you can't get around using a bank, and most of us have to use banks, don't use the interest-bearing accounts, right? If you have to use the bank, don't use the interest-bearing accounts. Try not to use credit cards. Try not to do anything that's going to bring you interest and make you amongst those that Allah wages war with. So Allah continues, says, Ya alladhina amanu taqullaha wa dharu ma baqiya min al-riba in kuntum mu'minin fa in lam taf'alu fa'dhanu biharbin min Allahi wa rasulihi wa in tubtum falakum ru'usu amwalikum wa la tudlimun wa la tu.
كيس كم
This is for the Tuxi? Okay. For the Tuxi?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, sir. I forgot to mention the story that we mentioned about Abbas and that when they came through Mecca, and this situation happened in Mecca, where two of the tribes they had one had interest money that they owed the other one. So when Islam came, Islam said no interest. So they came and they complained. One tribe came to collect that interest money. They said, listen, man, you owe us a lot of money from interest, and we want that. Right? Naturally. That was their old customs. So they said, no, we're not paying that. We're Muslims now. We're not paying it. So these guys were ready to go to war. So they complained to the governor. The governor of Mecca at that time was Attab bin Asid. There was Attab bin Asid. So Attab, he wrote to the Prophet, said, what should I do, Ya Rasulullah? And then this ayah was revealed, Ya ladina amanu, right? Ya ladina amanu taqullah wa dharu ma baqiya min al-riba. Oh, you believe? Leave off that. You believe? Fear Allah and leave off that which remains for you of interest. So the Prophet ﷺ told him that tell them this ayah, and if they're happy with it, cool. And if not, then tell them we're going to war. Simple like that. You're not pleased with the law of Allah? Then we go to war. Now, what type of war is this? Why are they fighting them? It's a big fiqh question. For some of you Allaamah here. You don't want to know that? Anybody wonder why go to war with them? Remember in Islam, we don't fight Muslims normally, right? So why go to war with these people? What were they? What would they be considered? Maybe, or they'll be considered either kuffar or they'll be considered bughat, transgressors. Right? In Islam, the government can fight either the murtadeen, those who rebelled or murtad is apostated from Islam, or those who are rebellious until you get them back in line. So they will be fought either because they apostatized from Islam, or they'll be fought because they transgressed, and you have to bring them back into line in society. Right? So it's permissible for a government to fight its people, right? To make them come back into line. In Islam. Reality. Even like we see here in America, like sometimes we become amazed about this when we see Muslim countries fight its people, right? They say, oh, wait, man, they're killing their own people. Well, the people are gotten out of line. You got to bring them back into line. You can't just have people running around breaking stuff and destroying the society either. Should you just let them do that? That's not law and order. But don't you know that they do this in the Western countries also? Don't you see when there's a protest, they come and bring out the stuff and bring out the pellet guns and all this type of stuff? They bring them back in line. You have to be able to bring your population back into line, or you're not a government. So anyway, you fight them. The Prophet ﷺ told them that if they don't want to obey that law, then announce to them that there's going to be war. There's going to be war. So Allah Ta'ala says in this ayah here, فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلُوا. So if you don't do that, if you don't forget and let go what you owe from riba, فَأْذَنُوا, then announce a war, بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ, of a war from Allah and His Messenger. وَإِن تُبْتُمْ فَلَكُمْ رُؤُوسُ أَمْوَالِكُمْ لَا تَظْلِمُونَ وَلَا تُظْلَمُونَ. And if you repent and turn back to Allah, then you can have the capital of your wealth, which you gave. But don't oppress, and you won't be oppressed. Don't oppress anybody, and you won't be oppressed. وَإِن كَانَ ذُو عُسْرَةٍ فَنَظِرَةٌ إِلَى مَيْسَرَةٍ. But if the person is, what's this word? ذُو عُسْرَةٍ. They're struggling, right? Person borrowed money from you, they're struggling. They can't pay it back. فَنَظِرَةٌ إِلَى مَيْسَرَةٍ. So delay it. Don't keep bothering. You see that the person can't pay it. You can, yo, bro, Israel, don't you owe me $15 from the other day? You see he's struggling. Let him go. Or you hounded him every day, calling, Salaam alaikum, brother. Did you get that $15 yet? Obviously, he didn't have it, Relax. Islam teaches you to be what? To relax on your brother. If he can't pay it, then relax on him so that he can pay later. Wait for him to pay later. فَنَظِرَةٌ إِلَى مَيْسَرَةٍ. Then delay it for him until a time where it's easy for him to pay it. When tasaddaqu khayrun lakum, but if you give it to him in sadaqah, if you let it go, but say, no, mashallah, brother, just keep it. May Allah bless you, that's sadaqah, that's better for you. In kuntum ta'lamun, if you know. Allah says, وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ. Allah says, in fear. What do you mean by fear? Prepare. Caution yourself. Get ready for that day that you're going to return back to Allah. ثُمَّ تُوَفَّى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا كَسَبَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. And every person will be paid in full for what they did, and no one will be oppressed. No one at all will be what? Oppressed. For sure, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes and judges everyone, that judgment will happen without any delay, without any deficiency. So you got to be careful about that day. What are you going to present in front of Allah? What am I going to present in front of Allah? What did I do? What have I not done? Where am I falling short at? That's what Allah means by wattaqu yawman. That's how you fear that day. Not just by talking about it and saying, Yawm. No. What practical stuff are you doing to prepare for Yawm al-Qiyamah? Practical. Because it's going to come. And if you're not prepared for it, it'll be too late to prepare for it after that. هذا وصلى الله عليه وسلم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Are there any questions? No questions? Huh?
If you do have bank accounts, which account should be better?
The checking account normally doesn't bear interest.
Checking account?
Normally doesn't bear interest. The savings account is the one that normally bears interest.
So it'd be best if you put your money into the checkings from the savings.
Nah. Don't give it to your auntie to put under the mattress.
I ain't got that.
Give it to somebody to put under the mattress in the shoebox. Yeah, the better account is a checking account. It's a checking account.
And credit cards should be exempt.
They have some credit cards that don't bear interest. Like if you have a necessity for a credit card and you can't get around, you need it to use it, right? So now you might have to have a credit card for something. Use the ones that if you pay it off before, you don't have to pay interest on. And Allah knows best. But you got to be careful because if you miss that payment, they're going to charge you interest. They're going to charge you interest. You girls have questions or you just talking? I know I was gone for a while, so you might have forgot. But I still will beat you. MashaAllah.
How is it that it said that the individual that makes the agreement for riba, witnesses it, partakes in it, all share in the same type of sin.
Mm-hmm.
So, being that we live in the West, please expound upon those parameters to where, because we pay it each and every day. If we put money in the bank, they're taking our money and investing it in something, and the money that they give us is not our money. It's the money from riba. So what can we do, and where can we be safe and not be safe?
The question is, the hadith is a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ when he says that akal riba wa mu'kirahu wa shahidehi. I'm forgetting something else. Wa katibihi wa shahidehi, right? That the one who eats the riba, the one who gives it, right, or who pays it,
Witnesses it.
the one who writes it, and the one who witnesses it, right? All of them sharing the sin. How do we deal with that? How do we understand that in regards to how we live in America, where the whole system of money and everything in America is built off of interest, right? Everything in America is built off of what? Interest. How do we deal with it? We get out of here as soon as we can. The only real answer for that. The only real answer for that is that we get out of America as soon as we can. But then you have to realize too that even in the Muslim lands, they have banks. And the banks utilize interest. The banks utilize interest. You might have some Islamic banks. But, it's very, banks utilize interest.
Don't we got some in America too?
Islamic banks?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they do. My sister, I think my sister has a bank account with an Islamic bank or something, right?
That's like in DC though.
No, I think hers is based out of New York sometime. What is it called? Something bank, she called me.
It's Jersey.
It's based out of Jersey? No, I guess they do have them. The biggest problem is how do banks make money? It's very difficult for a bank to establish itself as a bank, except that they're using itself. They use your money at interest, right? So we got to figure that part out. But also, if you have a darura, a necessity, we live in America, and maybe you can't move money around without utilizing the bank, you have a necessity, inshallah. Hopefully, we hope that by our necessity, that Allah will forgive us. We hope in that, the mercy of Allah, that because we have a necessity, and we're not doing it because we want to, and we love it, and we want to support it, we're hoping that Allah will accept and forgive us because we hate it in our hearts. We're hoping. And other than that, the best option is to get out of here as soon as possible. Leave here as soon as possible. Wallahi, I'm telling you, the more that I see the Muslim lands, I really don't feel it any... It's a difference, right? We'll look at it this way, right? Here, pass this around. If you look at the Muslim countries, right, it's difficult living. right? Without a doubt. Living, if you don't have a job or income, is difficult. You're going to be poor. It's going to be difficult. You might not eat properly. But then, when you come to America, it doesn't necessitate that you're going to become rich either. Right? It's not a necessity that or a written rule that coming to America equals becoming rich. And then not only do you struggle with that, you lose your families, your deen, the whole nine in America. Just to get a couple dollars. So, if a person has lived in America and has gained some type of expertise, then they should very much so be trying to figure out their way to get out of here. They should be trying to figure out their way. Once you get here, you can have some extra education, find a way to make some money. You might learn some English, have some extra, save up your money. You should be trying to figure out a way to get out of here. Not trying to figure out a way to stay here longer. All right? How can I enjoy the rest of my life here in America and just, eat banana pudding and just enjoy it? No, subhanAllah. You should be trying to figure out how to get out of here. What's my escape going to be? Nobody wants to sit in jail and stay there, right? You want to escape. It's the same thing. So you're trying to escape from this prison of America. Until you can escape, then you got to do what you got to do. Right? Until you can escape from it, you got to do what you got to do. Make sense? And Allah knows best. You stop it. Any other questions?